Our brain project was Left Brain vs. Right Brain, WJ's Clinical Case, by Danny Geary, Kelly Fallon, Javica Shaw, and Sarah Baker. The patient is WJ, an American officer paratrooper. In 1944, WJ jumped out of a plane with a defective parachute, knocking him unconscious and breaking his legs. He was then captured by the Nazis, where he suffered from more head trauma that was left untreated. He suffered from absences, seizures, and he would occasionally yell, "Bail out, Jerry," and collapse shortly after. LA surgeons conducted a split-brain surgery to reduce WJ's seizures. The goal of the researchers Michael Gazzaniga and Roger W. Sperry was to determine function of corpus callosum and the side effects of splitting the two cerebral hemispheres. In order to do so, they used a tachistoscope to flash words or objects on far left side of WJ's field of vision. Researchers asked him to state whether or not he had seen an image and to also press a button in his right hand every time he saw the image.
The corpus callosum is a thick band of nerve fibers in the brain that connects the right and left hemispheres of the cerebrum, coordinating the functions of the two halves. It transfers motor, sensory, and cognitive information between the brain hemispheres. The corpus callosum is the largest fiber bundle in the brain, containing nearly 200 million axons. It is composed of white matter fiber tracts known as the commissural fibers. The left side of the brain is responsible for controlling the right side of the body, and vice versa. Visual stimuli from the left eye goes to the right hemisphere of the brain, meaning the left field of view is processed by the right hemisphere and vice versa. Motor impulses to the right side of the body come from the left hemisphere. The left primary motor gyrus controls the right side of the body. The left hemisphere of the brain usually contains Broca's and Wernicke's area, which are important for speech and language. WJ is a split-brain patient. Split-brain patients are patients who have undergone corpus callosomies, usually as a treatment for severe epilepsy, a severing of a large part of the corpus callosum. When these connections are cut, the two halves of the brain have a reduced capacity to communicate with each other. The callosum tissue seen in a healthy brain, the bright white in the top image, retracts after a corpus callosomy, leaving just the ventricle black. Gazzaniga ran an experiment in which he asked WJ to press a button whenever he saw an image. Researchers would then flash images of letters, light bursts, and other stimuli to his left or right field of view. Because the left field of view processed by the right hemisphere and vice versa, flashing images quickly on one side or the other delivers the information solely to the intended hemisphere. For stimuli delivered to the left hemisphere, WJ showed no hang-ups. He simply pressed the button and told the scientists what he saw. With the right hemisphere, WJ said he saw nothing, yet his left hand kept pressing the button every time he saw the image appeared. Gazzaniga said, "The left and right didn't know what the other was doing." This was because when the corpus callosum is cut, there is no connection between the hemispheres. The information couldn't be shared with the left hemisphere that houses the area for speech.
Sperry and Gazzaniga knew that there must be side effects from splitting the brain, so they began extensive research on WJ and other split-brain patients. They researched the side effects by flashing images and words to different sides of the body so that the information would be processed by different sides of the brain. This allowed the researchers to observe how the separated hemispheres functioned differently. When images were flashed to the right side, the left side processed them and the patient was able to verbalize the image. However, when it was flashed to the left side, the right side processed it and it could not be verbalized because there are no sites for language production on this side. From this research, Sperry and Gazzaniga found that there are different areas of the brain for different functions, and this allowed them to map out the functional areas. In addition, they found that right and left hemispheres specialize in different things, with the right brain being more artistic and better at memorizing images, and the left brain being better at pattern recognition and language. While these hemispheres can function separately, they work better together as they complement each other's functions. Finally, the split brain research has served as a basis for interpreting neuroimaging results and allowing researchers to identify processing centers that involve both sides.
Is it ethical? During the time it happened, the surgery was ethical since it was an experimental surgery that was consented to. WJ did agree to do the experiments for further research as well. Would it happen now? Currently, corpus callosomy surgeries are only used as a last attempt of fixing seizures. The best clinical results have been reported for tonic or atonic seizures with drop attacks. Up to 90% of pediatric patients show complete remission. The targeted patient population is mainly children and adolescents, since it has the largest chance of brain recovery.